welcome to another episode of the Quotes and Mirrors podcast. I am Relic.
And I am Uncommonterry. And can you hear me?
Yeah, you're a little low.
Okay. Let me see if I can turn it up on this side. Maybe I can speak up a little bit more too. How about that? But nonetheless, what's going on?
Not much, man. What you still kind of low though. Let me see something.
Is that your volume over there?
Huh?
Is that your volume?
Nah.
Let me see. Turn audio.
All right, I got it.
Okay.
Yep, all good now.
Cool.
All right.
Man.
Hey, what's up, man? What's going on?
I've been running around like I told you. It's just ridiculous what happens in the last hour before the show. It's absolutely ridiculous. I've been in the store, been in the shower, cleaned the kitchen, took out the trash, fed the boy, got the boy in the bed. It's crazy because mama's doing hair. So, I don't know about you. If you know about them hair days, them joints is time consuming.
Nah, because I used to just comb Melissa's hair up. Like, cause she has such long hair, right? So I would just comb her hair and I'll put a bandana around her head. And then I had a bandana that was the same color. I put a bandana around my head and we just just be wild with the bandanas.
That's it.
That's all I did.
Is that what you got to work with? You gotta work with that.
Exactly. But all right, y'all. Yeah. I'm ready.
Okay, well, Quotes and Mirrors podcast, for those of you that don't know, we live by the name. We pick a quote and then reflect on it. Normally we'll disagree and then we'll agree and then we'll disagree. I'll call him light skinned. He'll say something about gray. That's pretty much the show. But
thanks for watching.
Right. So we're gonna show you how that's done. He picked a quote this week. I'm gonna go ahead and let you read this quote and then we'll see how far we gonna stretch these three little letters.
Yeah. So the quote for tonight is "Leadership is lonely." It's by Kobe Bryant. Rest in peace, Kobe. Did this resonate with me. But before I get into my opinion on this, what is your take on it?
I didn't really get it. It's almost, I guess we got to kind of crack it open because leadership, by definition, you're not really a leader if it's just you, right? So, and I guess if you're a good leader, then that's what I'm thinking. Like, where's the lonely part come in? Because you got the flock, or you got the team, or you got the crew, or whatever that you're actually leading. I can see maybe the alone versus lonely, and only from the way of being responsible for all the decisions or for the last word on this or that. Being responsible for how you're gonna go forward, how you're gonna keep progressing. But even that, you can tap into your team for. So, I was curious as to what the surrounding context was when he said this. I'm sure it was in an interview.
Yeah. So I think what Kobe meant by this, and really what the reason that it resonated with me so much, is because I'm not talking about the amount of people that are around me. I'm talking about the decisions that you have to make that have you isolated at times. If we're looking at leadership, if we look at the person that's at the top, there's one that's at the top. It's like a pyramid,
Mm-hmm.
And the higher you get to the top, it becomes narrower and narrower, and now you have that one person that is the head, that is at the top, that is ultimately the one that's making the decisions. But you're making decisions that are affecting everybody that's under you, and people are not going to always be happy with that. Sometimes being a leader means making very hard decisions. Sometimes it means pissing people off. Sometimes it means doing something that may not be so popular,
Okay.
and that everybody doesn't necessarily agree on, right? So because of that, you can't, as a leader, my thought process isn't always, I need to please the people. I need to please all of the people. Let me say that. I can't please all of the people. I just need to do what's best. And,
Okay.
and sometimes that's lonely. That's lonely because I'm making a decision that may just go against what everybody else wants to do. But I know, so I think one of the biggest things when we talk about true leadership is vision. I'm talking about insight, foresight, and hindsight. I mean, just learning from the past,
Mm-hmm.
tying back to your present into the future. So when we're talking about vision, I think one of the biggest things that separates leaders from the rest of the pack is their vision. It's their ability to see things before it happens, their ability to create things. And everybody just can't see that. And everybody can't understand it.
Okay.
But everybody ain't meant to understand it and to get it because everybody ain't meant to be a leader.
Okay. Um. Okay. I mean, I get that. What I don't get is I still just don't get the lonely part. I think in any instance, and it's just not in leadership, um, there's some decisions that you're making that result in you being lonely. It's not just for me. I just can't even imagine what that is. I would have to completely go inside myself. I couldn't enjoy the. I couldn't even, for me, just have the natural enjoyment of being amongst my family. Immediately, I'm not lonely. Like I don't like that. I get when you're saying alone, and I get the whole mountaintop. But that when you get to the mountaintop, that point don't float. It's still connected to the mountain beneath it. You know what I mean? And so I don't get the lonely part. I can say maybe alone. I don't get the lonely part. Even when you got to make decisions that got to affect other people, you still like. I mean, you can still take input. You just got the last word. You got the responsibility. You have to. You actually got to push the button to pull the lever. Cool, but I don't get the lonely part.
I'm not talking about lonely as far as not having people around you. Because you
What's
you
the
can't be
definition
a
of lonely?
leader without people to lead.
What's the
So
definition of lonely?
yeah, but that's not what I mean. I mean, like, you can be in a room full of people and feel lonely.
Yeah,
I,
but you're
Let me
deciding.
speak for me. I've been in a room full of people and felt lonely.
Yeah, you was in the wrong room full of people. You know what I mean? You wasn't.
It doesn't matter. I'm just saying that it can happen. Whether the
No, but
people are the right people or the wrong people, I'm saying that it can happen.
okay, cool. But it's still the decision. You know what I mean? You don't have
What's
to
the
be.
decision?
You don't even have to be in there. You don't have to stay in there.
Yeah, if
You can
if
find
this is a
another
room,
room.
if
Like,
this is a room full of people that I need to lead, yeah, I do need to be here. I do need to be here. But maybe, all right, put it this way. Let's say, as a father, okay,
mm-hmm,
let's say all of your children want to do something.
mm-hmm.
All of your children want to do something, but you know better. I can't let y'all do this. And they're like, but daddy, I want to. And I absolutely cannot let you do this because I know better. Right. So now
Uh-huh.
they're all mad. Y'all all in the same room, but they're now all mad at you, and they decide to isolate, I guess collectively isolating. But put it this way, they have left you isolated. So they go off to the side. They don't want anything to do with you because they're mad at you. You made the right decision as the leader, but now and you're still in the room with people, but now this is lonely because, and when I'm speaking of being lonely, I'm talking about not necessarily not having the people, but not having the people understand the decisions that you're making, not having the people see your vision because you're like, I'm making these choices, I'm making these decisions, I'm doing this, I'm doing that, or whatever, and nobody can understand what it is. There's this disconnection between me and the people. And that feels lonely. That feels lonely when you're in a room full of people that just don't understand you.
Um,
And I'm speaking from experience too.
I mean, as far as the the lack of understanding. Like most people don't understand me. Like they don't understand where I come from. They don't understand, and I'm not. They just don't understand my mindset concerning a lot of things because I don't think the same way like other people. But this is probably another one of them areas. Like I, I can't be lonely if somebody else is actually available. I can see myself maybe, if I'm stranded on an island or something like this. But dude, I'm just saying, even if you alone are the only person to make whatever this, I don't know. Lonely is, yeah. I'm not getting it, dude. I don't
Yeah,
even remember ever being lonely.
yeah, but you keep that's because you keep going somewhere I'm not going. You keep talking about being surrounded by people, and I'm telling you that even being surrounded by people, you can still be lonely. It's based off of decisions that you're making that other people just don't understand,
So why does that result in loneliness?
because that's how it feels. That's how it
Why
feels.
though? You tell me how. Why? Why does that result in loneliness? Just
Because
because nobody understands understands me? Then I'm just let me find another way to communicate. I don't know. I'm not I'm not getting it, man. Because I don't think this is something that I'm particularly prone to. I have no point of reference as far as, and I mean, I don't know. When things get difficult or have gotten difficult, where I don't feel like people understand me, but lonely isn't what I feel. I feel frustrated, but
maybe frustration is your
I knew you was gonna do that.
what frustration what
I did.
frustration is for you is what loneliness is for me.
I knew you was gonna do that. Just somehow bridge the gray gap. Jesus God. I knew you was gonna do that. I really want to say what they consider loneliness as far as the definition is concerned. Because I mean I understand what you're saying. I just don't understand why it would result in loneliness.
um I, I think that this is actually proving my point. I can't get you to understand it, and I feel so alone right now.
You're a little fragile right now. I'm gonna go ahead and tell you. Get out there for the people.
It ain't fragile. Here we go with that word again from last week. It's
I'm saying,
fragility has absolutely nothing to do with it. It's just so when I say lonely, see, here's the other thing. When I say lonely, it's not like a heartbreak lonely. It's just me acknowledging the fact that I'm by myself here. I'm by
yeah.
myself with the decisions that I've had to make. Like, and I acknowledge it. Now, if it was bothering me, if it was breaking my heart, then I would choose to not be in this position of leadership so that I could avoid that feeling. But I don't want you to think for 1 second that I'm saying I'm lonely and it's hurting me. It's not hurting me.
Hold on a
It's
second.
not
I
hurting.
believe, but I don't think it's me that's misunderstanding here. I think you're speaking of being singular, soul maybe, but lonely is not a positive emotion. Lonely is not damn big. Is not. It's sadness. It's a negative. It's on the downside of things. You so like you, that's what I'm saying. I don't get with that the loneliness, like feeling sad or gloom or whatever, because I am by myself in whether it be figuratively or literally by myself and having to make a decision or by myself in the room. I mean, but you the way you're describing it without the sadness, you're just acknowledging your singularity. That you are the sole person in charge. You are the
Mhm.
sole proprietor, if you will. That's not loneliness. That's
No,
other.
no, that's not loneliness to you. It's loneliness to me.
Jesus. What is the reason for the dictionary if it only applies as individual understands? Like, what is the point in any definition if it's really based on what you feel?
Yo,
There's no reason in any of it. I don't think I feel that way. So then
no,
it's not.
it's just a point of reference. That's it.
Jesus. This is
That's all the dictionary is. It's a point of
it's
reference.
so ridiculous. It's so. Hold on a second, because I was looking it up. Loneliness, a sadness because one has no friends or company. Oh, what's wrong? Then loneliness of a place, the quality of being unfrequented and remote, isolation. Okay,
Here we go. We
tell me
getting it.
about
Isolation.
it. Okay, all right, that backfired on me. So, I did not read the definition before I said, like, let me show you what it is. Nope, did no research whatsoever. So, so okay. In that case, I guess now I understand more what you're saying based on the actual definition, by the way. The actual definition, not
Right.
how you perceive it, just what it is, by the way, what it actually is. And there happens to be two definitions to it. One, of course, is the sadness that I spoke of that
Right.
doesn't actually serve your point. However, definition B, I believe, hits the nail on the head there.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, so who cares that you're lonely at the top? Who cares? All right.
Yeah, but
Yep.
so when I'm talking about um I'm not talking about any type of negative emotion that comes as a result. So when you say who cares, yeah, who cares? I don't care. Whatever. So what? Yes, I earned this position. I worked my ass off to get into this position of leadership, right? And since I'm here, I
Mhm.
also understand everything that comes with it. So this ain't no woe is me. Nah, it ain't none of that stuff. I don't, whatever. I don't care about all of that stuff. I'm just acknowledging the fact that I'm in a position where I'm going to have to make decisions that are not going to be popular. I'm going to have a lot of people that are angry with my decisions. I'm going to have a lot of people that want my position. I got to understand what the penalty for leadership is. I understand that there's so many other things that come with being a leader. And sometimes you because there are so many more people that are against the lead. Yo, all right, check this out. Put it this way. As the leader, I have to a lot of the credit is given to me for the success of the whatever it is that I'm a part of, okay? Whatever the organization is, right?
Okay.
But if something bad happens within that organization and I had absolutely nothing to do with that, I'm still the one that pays for that. I have to deal with that.
Yeah, I mean, but that's
That's leadership,
yeah,
right?
that's fine. That's like if I told you head of the household, everything ain't my fault, but everything is my responsibility. I
Right.
get it.
Exactly. Yeah, that can feel lonely at times because I got to understand that I'm the one that's going to have to pay for this. I got to be the face of this. I got to be on the front line. I got to take the bullets. It's me. It's me.
I
Yo,
mean,
for instance, Relic Media, if anything goes wrong here, I'm the one that's going to step in front. I can't let nothing happen to any of my people. It has
right.
to be me. It has to be me.
Yeah, but it's not. But you didn't go into this blindly. You didn't wake up and all of a sudden you had this responsibility. You built
Mm-mm.
this responsibility.
Right.
So to me, I mean, okay, all right, I'll give you the leadership is lonely, but stop whining about it.
But where's the whining?
Who is lonely? It
Yeah,
sounds
but hold on. If you want to look at your definition or definition A, then sure. But definition B is what I'm talking about, which is isolation. And I made it very clear. There is no whining. There is no woe is me here.
okay. Cool.
I'm supposed to be here as the leader. I earned this, which means I also understand and accept everything that comes along with being a leader.
Okay. So now, what is the necessity of the statement? Like, does this not go without saying?
Well, so Kobe was asked the question,
There we go.
and I mean
Context.
he was asked. I can't remember what the question was, and then he said, "Well, leadership is lonely." So, but he wasn't saying it in a woe is me kind of way. He's like, you got to understand that I'm going to make decisions that are going to separate me from everybody else. Yo, hold on. I want to get to some of the comments. All right. So Vega said, it's lonely at the top because as a boss, leaders, or hold on 1 second. My bad. Okay. It's lonely at the top because as a boss, leaders, or a person in charge, there is something that you cannot discuss or share with others because it may make you seem too human. Of course, we are humans as leaders, but there are things that you have to keep to yourself so you don't come off as weak. Okay. I think that's a good point too. I think that's a very good point because there are some things that you do have to hold on to. And you know, number one, yeah, you could come off as weak, but two, everything ain't everybody's business. Like everybody don't need to know everything. Of course, this isn't my first time being in a position of leadership. This been several times I've been in a position of leadership, and things have happened where I just can't tell people what's going on. I can't say. I just have to deal with what I'm dealing with, and I just can't share it.
I mean, okay, I guess I'm not arguing with that. I'm just stuck on this. I needed to see the interview because this just sounds whiny. So I'm trying to get past that part.
Well,
so
it's easy to get past,
beyond that, again, beyond that, doesn't it go without saying? You know, who's questioning that you are by yourself making a decision and handling the responsibility?
Yeah, I don't think that it goes without saying. I think that it was rather profound, and I think Kobe was speaking directly to leaders when he said this. He was speaking directly to people who were in positions of leadership. I would venture to say that if we spoke to a lot of leaders, that they would agree. Matter of fact, so Lonnie, she is in a position of leader. She owns Vega Entertainment. She just said she's talking about how it is lonely as a boss or as a person that's in a position of leadership. It is. It is. Like, I really feel like you speak to enough leaders, you're going to hear it. Like, but you're not going to end. Going back to what you said, it sounds whiny. It's easy to get past the whiny part because I just told you there is no whiny part. We're not whining about it.
Yeah, but I guess I'm not really. I'm still just like, okay. I mean, but when you say it the way that Kobe said it, it sounds like, you know, somebody asked him a question and his answer was leadership is lonely. Not him just making a statement to expound upon that leadership is lonely, right? That was just his answer to a question.
Well, he did expound on it a little bit, but I mean, in a sense, he was pretty much saying a lot of the stuff that I'm saying. It wasn't a long clip. It was a short clip, so it wasn't a whole lot that he was saying. But he, come on now, this is Kobe Bryant. You ain't never heard Kobe whine.
I didn't watch basketball.
Well, true, yeah, but I mean, it's I think that it takes a special kind of person.
I understood that he wasn't whining. I understood from the way that you said it. Mm-hmm. The tone in which you said that he responded. I understood that wasn't whining. I get that. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So now I guess also what I'm kind of focused on. This is a blanket, right? Just saying leadership, period, is lonely. So my question now, is there a such thing as leadership that is not lonely?
Yeah, I believe so. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that was so. Welcome to the gray area. I think that we're gonna change the name of this podcast to, is it Black and White or Welcome to the Gray Area? But I think, I shouldn't have made the joke. Now I forgot what I was about to say. That's stupid.
You know what? You do this stuff, you just laugh yourself right out the script.
I do.
What's going on? I think it's the ad-lib. You need to work on the ad-lib because you got to be able to come back.
It's the ADHD.
Or you ad-lib when it doesn't matter that you're talking because you didn't have a point to make. like what I'm doing right. Don't matter. But I want to know. I do want to know what you was thinking, so hopefully we can trigger it when I ask.
I do too.
Ask the question.
You would just ask me something. I was responding to something that you said. Do you remember what you asked me?
I was trying to get it out, but you're talking.
No, you about to say it right now?
I was, but then you were saying what you were saying.
My bad.
Yeah.
As you were.
Okay. So my question was about leadership without loneliness. Is it what does that even look like? Leadership without loneliness.
Oh, okay. Yes, that's what I was about. Thank you. I'm glad you got it out. So, so I don't think that it applies to everybody. So,
okay.
And when
So
I was saying,
does it only apply to a certain caliber of leader?
Yeah, I think so.
Wow.
I think so, because I think that, and when you say caliber, I don't want that to come across as if I'm saying that any one leader is better than any other leader. I don't mean it like that.
That's exactly what I said. What I got from that.
Well, that's exactly why I'm clearing it up. That's not what I meant. So that's not what I'm saying. All I'm saying is there are different types of leaders. So you have some people who are. I read a book one time that was talking about the two different types of leaders. You have builders and you have drivers. You have builders, they are more inclusive. They just like, come on, everybody, let's do this together. And then you have drivers who are a little harder, which Kobe was a driver, And then you have people who have both, and that's me. I do both, builder and driver, right? So
I believe that's called a narcissist. Go ahead.
What?
Go ahead.
So no, it is understanding, because I believe that the best leaders, at the risk of sounding like a narcissist, I believe that the best leaders are both builders and drivers, but you have to understand when to be a builder and when to be a driver. There are times when I say, all right, everybody, let's do this together. I need your idea. I need your idea. I need your idea. All right, how are we going to do this? Cool. I may throw an idea out there. Somebody else may counter it. And I'm like, that's a better idea. Let's go with that idea. That's okay. So now I'm building with the team. And then there are other times where I'm making the decision. I don't care what anybody else says. I've made this decision. And this is what it's going to be. And there ain't even no need to discuss anything else.
Okay, so first of all, I feel like you're mansplaining right now. That's what they call it. When we say stuff, and we know they know the meaning of it, but we go ahead and explain it anyway. And you just broke down building and driving like I didn't. So,
Well, I'm not just talking to you. There's people watching.
Yes, you are. They just listening.
If I was just talking to you, I would have called you.
First of all, it could still be a FaceTime or something like that. We could actually do this without an audience. We don't really want that. But, But no, I get it. I just, I'm thinking about, this says leadership is lonely, period. Like, there's literally on there, period. Leadership is lonely. So that's why I asked the question as to whether or not there's leadership without being lonely. And do you believe that only the best leaders are lonely? I'm curious about that.
That's a good question. By the way, Vega said she appreciated the breakdown, and I appreciate you, Vega. So now take that, jackass. All right.
Hold on a second. A woman, that's a woman, correct?
Yeah.
And you mansplained, correct?
No.
You did. It makes sense that the woman would catch it.
No, I didn't mansplain anything. I just gave clarity. I gave clarity to a statement.
All right. That's what the definition of mansplaining is.
That is, if that is the definition of mansplaining, I hate it here, I want to, this is stupid.
No, but what should I say? It's the unnecessary giving of clarity.
No, I think it was, it
wasn't necessary for me. That's all.
Exactly. That's what I was about to say. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So anyway, what were we just talking about?
You just asked me something.
I did. Oh, whether or not you think the best leaders are lonely, or or in order to be the best leader, you have to experience some loneliness or be lonely.
Do I think the best leaders are lonely? No, absolutely not. I think when we talk about the best leaders, I got to look at results. So you have some people that are um going back to the builders and drivers, you have some people that are builders and have been super successful doing that. You have people that are drivers that have been super successful at that. I believe that the drivers are the ones that are the lonely ones, though, because the builders are far too inclusive to be lonely. But the drivers, they are the ones that I believe are the ones that can that are lonely. um I believe that the best leaders are the ones that are builders and drivers, because you have to understand, I have people over here that I can build with, and then I have people over here that I can drive.
Gotcha.
So there are times when having being able to do both of them, you you're gonna have times when you make the decision that leaves you feeling lonely, and then you're going to make the decision where you're not going to feel lonely. So leadership is lonely for the drivers. Leadership is sometimes lonely for the people who are drivers and builders. Leadership probably isn't all that lonely for the builders.
Yeah, I don't really. I still scratching on the wine part. I just don't see. I mean, by isolation, like you are, but you're isolated only because only one person could be in front, but or one person could be on top, but you're still like connected. Yeah, I mean, so well, even when you have to make the decision on your own, once you make the decision, you're affecting more than you. That's what keeps you tethered. So, I don't know. I can't say that I've ever. Of course, I don't run no company. Nope. I just got a wife and 6 kids that I'm responsible for.
That's a company.
I'm saying what I'm saying is in that leadership, I don't feel lonely. Like I don't know. I guess, and maybe you would because this is where you would say, well, that's what you're calling loneliness, where you feel the weight of the responsibility, but I don't know. I think the joy of the responsibility in that particular circumstance completely outweighs the weight for me. So, yeah, I don't know, man. I guess I need to start something so I can feel lonely. I ain't never, you know what I mean? I need to start a business or something so I can be at the top of that and feel lonely, and maybe I'll succeed. I don't know. If this is necessary, if lonely, like I don't, yeah, I don't know.
But it depends on what type of leader that you're going to be, whether or not you're going to feel lonely.
Well, I mean, but regardless of the type of leader that you are, in the end, when you are successful, you know, this is almost, well, considering who it came from, considering the source, this kind of lends itself to saying that in order to be successful, you have to be willing. Maybe that's it. You have to be willing to isolate.
It depends on the person. You don't necessarily have to, but it depends on the person and their personality, because the type of leader that Kobe is, Jordan, people like that, yeah, they're gonna. It's hard to. Let me see. How can I make this point? I want to hold on. I do want to say one thing before I try to get into this point. Cass said, "Great leaders lead from the front, middle, and the back." I think she was saying that in response to your question when you said, what did you say? What is it that makes a great leader? Oh,
Well, it was a couple of different variations of
okay,
the
all right,
question, but
yeah.
if loneliness, if you have to be lonely in order to be a great leader, was one version. You know what I mean?
Now, but with and so coming off of what she just said, great leaders leading from the front, middle, and the back. I think sometimes when you're in the front, it can get lonely. When you're leading in the middle, then it's not so lonely. But when you're leading from the back, again, starts to feel a little lonely again. But I think that that's huge, because as a leader, you have to know when to be in the midst of the crowd, and then you have to know when to separate yourself. And when you have to separate yourself, yeah, it gets lonely. You gotta You know, you have to understand. I have to take a step back. It's like trying to look at a picture, but being too close up on that picture. You can't see the big picture because you're too close up on it. So you got to step back. You got to get away from it so that you can see the entire thing. And once you're able to see the entire thing, like, okay, I know exactly what I'm looking at here.
Okay. All right. I mean, I did. You know, I don't know what to say. I don't, because I mean, I guess like I keep going back to the tone you used when you said the way he said it. And so cool. Leadership is lonely. It's necessary to be isolated, or you will be isolated in leadership. I guess. Um, I guess is what he was trying to say.
You know, also in the way that you think, the way that you think can also the way you think and the way that you execute, right? It may kind of set you apart from everybody else, right? So this is why you see people like Kobe Bryant and Michael Jordan who were like the greatest at what they do, but probably not probably as they were leading, but probably wouldn't be the best coaches. That's what I was trying to say before. I'm trying to figure out how to make this point. And I'm gonna see if I can talk my way into the point that I'm trying to make. Um, Probably not the best coaches. Floyd Mayweather, another one. The best at what he does. Probably not that great of a coach. And the thing is, all three of those men that I just named, they have something. They possess skills that you cannot teach.
Apparently, because they can't be coaches.
That's the point that I'm making, right? So when you possess those skills that are uncoachable, it's just something that is innate. That is something that's just inside of you, right? It feels lonely because I'm me and nobody can do what I'm doing. I sometimes you get frustrated when you're so great at something, but you have to be a part of a team and nobody else seems to be able to bring themselves up to your level. Now, the thing is, it's unfair. It's unfair because everybody ain't gonna be Michael Jordan. Everybody ain't gonna be Kobe. Everybody ain't gonna be Floyd. Everybody ain't gonna be Tyrell James. So
Not even you tonight, Relic.
but so because of that, yeah, sometimes it feels lonely because I'm out here trying to do what I'm trying to do, and I feel like I need the people around me to do the same thing, but they can't do it. They can't do it. And I just got to understand it's not necessarily a knock on them. It's just that I have this God-given talent that just separates me and puts me in a completely different stratosphere. And they can't do that. That's not the gift that God gave them. So yeah, this feels lonely.
So, what's the difference between lonely and alone?
Um,
Follow up question: can you feel both, either or, and lonely or alone
I think
in a crowd of people?
I'm gonna answer the second part first. Yeah, I think you can feel either or and.
Okay,
So
those are possible. So now,
right.
what's the difference between loneliness and alone?
Okay, so now I feel like you're trying to set me up. But I'm gonna let it happen. But I just want you to know that I see what you do. I see it.
I ain't cooking at all. I promise. I promise you. I'm just asking the question as it comes to my mind.
So I'm going to go to definition A. Your definition for lonely.
Okay.
Right. All right. I'll tell you what. Let me give you an example. The person who was in a relationship and now they're no longer in a relationship, they may, like, right after the relationship is over, they may go through a period of loneliness because they were used to being with somebody, right? But then as they begin to heal and get over it, they still haven't moved on to anybody else, but they have moved on with their life. Now they're no longer experiencing that loneliness. They're just alone, meaning they're by themselves, but they don't feel lonely. They don't feel the negative emotions that come with the loneliness. Now we're going with definition A here.
Yeah, obviously.
Yeah. So
So
loneliness,
there's no difference. So definition B is alone versus loneliness.
definition B, you did it. You did it. You did it. Yo, you. Yo,
Look,
I don't want to talk about it no more. I don't
look,
know.
it's facts only, homie. That's all. That's it. I'm just looking at them and they floating, so I'm piecing them together. That's all. I mean, because seriously though, I wanted to know because I think the only difference between lonely and alone is the negative feeling that comes with it, is the sadness or the remorse or whatever the case.
Until you move to definition B. See, things change once we move to a different definition or a different part of the definition. Then things change. Everything changes.
When everything changes, everything changes.
So everything change. What'd you say?
When everything changes, everything changes.
Exactly. That's the new quote. That's the new quote. So loneliness. All right. When you throw in the word alone, and then we have loneliness versus alone, now I have to deal with definition A of lonely. But if we take the word alone away, and then we're talking about leadership, because if I'm in a position of leadership, I'm never alone. Because if I'm leading, I have to have people to lead. So I'm not alone. And that's why I'm not even dealing with that word alone. I'm only dealing with lonely, but definition B of lonely, which is isolation.
But now, I mean, but should there be a decision to make, and it has to be made by the leader, who is you, the one person, are not you alone in the responsibility of making that decision?
Yep.
Yeah. So then you are alone, right?
No.
And this is
No, I'm not. I'm not alone. I am alone in making the decision, but if I'm making a decision for us, then I'm not alone.
you are what? That was stop it.
No,
Well,
listen.
No, I would like to, but you listen to you before you ask me to listen.
Exactly what I said. It made all the sense in the world. You said, are you alone in making the decision? You're adding more stuff. You're adding some alone in making a decision, but alone in making a decision concerning us. I'm not alone.
You are, if you're a leader, you are alone. You got, I mean, you are alone as the leader. Period. Like,
okay, but alone meaning only.
Yeah, that's kind of what I started with when I went for singular. Soul only was another one you could have thrown in there. 100%,
Okay,
100%. Yeah, and that's what, and that again, part of when I say, doesn't that kind of go without saying? I mean, you know, if you're the top, yeah, you're the leader, guy. How about it? You're the only one up there. Okay.
Right, but that's not what the quote is about.
No, it's not. But what is it? I mean, it's like, I don't know. Like, I didn't learn anything. I didn't learn anything.
Learned is I feel really lonely right now. I am so alone.
You are alone. You are most certainly. I just, I was hoping to expand my mind. I did not.
Now, is it possible that Your mind was closed.
I mean, possible? Yeah, it's possible.
Was your mind closed?
Nah, not entirely closed. I mean, the door was cracked. You know, you got to leave room for other perspectives. But I didn't learn anything.
Well, the door was only cracked, so I can understand that. If you open the door, you probably see exactly what I was talking about. But you want to keep that door cracked because the thing is, I think you think that if you open
later, stop.
What'd you say?
You're gonna make it a closet. It's not a closet.
It's a really good joke, but I gotta let it go. But I think you can read my mind.
All right, we can't make those jokes, man. All right. But anyway, okay, and I you know, I ain't gonna front. I love like just being able to dance completely around this whole situation and see it from every possible, just flip flap, spell backwards, forwards, diagonal, whatever the case. But okay, I'm not concede. But leadership is lonely. I just don't think it's worth stating. That's it.
Well, I tell you what, hold on one second. I want to see something. I want to play the clip. I'm gonna play the clip real quick. All right.
Is it a lonely existence? Leadership is lonely, but that's fine. You're not going to be afraid of confrontation to get us where we need to go. It's misconception.
That's not coming through, man. Clear.
Okay. So,
is it a lonely existence? Leadership is lonely.
So what happened was Ahmad Rashad asked Kobe, "Is it a lonely existence?" And Kobe said, "Leadership is lonely." So he's directly responding to a question about a lonely existence.
Gotcha. Okay, I don't think leadership is lonely. Responding to his generalization, I disagree that leadership is lonely. It can be, but just is. Period. No.
Well, he was asking Kobe about Kobe. So in Kobe's instance, yeah, leadership is lonely. So if you ask somebody else, ask another leader, they may have a different response. I think that you're going to come across a lot of leaders that will tell you, yeah, leadership is lonely. I would tell you at many times, leadership has been lonely.
Yeah, but like I said, I just don't. It doesn't have to be. It can be, but it's not always. I don't think it's a guaranteed situation. But it's fine. And in reference to asking other leaders and them saying that leadership is lonely, that would make this more than just Kobe speaking for Kobe.
Well, Kobe is still speaking for Kobe. I would like to hear what leaders have to say about them and their position. So that's all for Kobe. That's all for Kobe.
You backpedaled. Because you said that if you spoke to other leaders, they would tell you that leadership is lonely. And then you said, I would like to hear how other leaders respond to whether or not leadership is lonely.
Okay, what I mean is I believe that a lot of other leaders would say that leadership is lonely. I would like to hear them expound on it. I would like to hear what else they have to say. I would love to hear what they why they say that leadership is lonely.
Okay. But again, if you want to know why they say it, then you're first saying that they would say it.
Mm-hmm.
Thereby Kobe speaking more for than just Kobe.
No.
All right, forget about it. Don't worry about it.
Kobe said what he said, and it applied to him. What I'm saying is, if I speak to another leader or a group of leaders, I believe that out of this group of leaders, some of them would say, yes, leadership is lonely.
Oh my goodness.
Completely.
Every time you make the statement, you add something or take something away.
Because before you weren't understanding the point I was making, so I had to say it another way to try to get you to understand what I'm saying.
No, but when you take something away, it didn't give way to further understanding. Matter
What
of
I
fact,
say?
further confusion because you contradicted.
How?
So, first was, I believe that if you would ask other leaders, that they would say that the leadership is lonely. Mm-hmm. Then was, I would like to know what other leaders say. I mean, whether or not other leaders would say leadership is lonely. That would directly contradict the earlier assumption that they would already say that. Then you said, no, what I mean to say is, I believe that they would think leadership is lonely. I would just now want to hear why they think leadership is lonely. And that's where I'm saying you were just kind of adding stuff.
So, all right. So let me summarize all of that stuff. So, yeah, I'm saying all three of those things because what I'm saying is I believe that if you speak to a group of leaders, that some of them will say that leadership is lonely.
Okay.
So that leaves room for the ones that may not say that, because I don't believe that every single leader feels that way. But I do believe that there is a large group of leaders that feel that way. And so what I'm basically saying is I would like to know, I would like for them to, the ones that say that leadership is lonely, I would love to hear them expound on that. I want to hear why they feel that it's lonely.
No, that's cool. I'm just saying initially it was just I believe they would think that, and then it's I would like to hear if they think that. That's all I was addressing. Those two
yeah, but I was saying I would like that was me not wanting to make a blanket statement. That was me not wanting to say all leaders will say this. So I'm leaving room for the leaders that may not say that. I understand there's some leaders that may not say it. So I would like to hear for the ones that would say that.
I got you. I'm just saying the initial statement was they were direct conflictions. That's all. That's it. So.
Okay.
Anyway. All right. So leadership is lonely or not. Maybe. Sometimes in the gray. Right?
Exactly. Thank you. That's all I've been trying to say. Just summed it all up. Yes.
All right. Well, it's what is it, 9:54. So we're gonna go ahead and wrap this episode, concluding that leadership can be lonely. Would you would agree? Don't have to be, but it can be.
Exactly.
Huh?
It just depends on who you're talking to.
I'm talking to you, but I'm speaking for me.
Sometimes leadership is lonely.
Sometimes. It's about to be in just a minute. Yo, so we're gonna wrap this. I was looking for the quote for next week. And also you talked to Josh lately?
Yesterday.
Okay, because he got to travel for work.
I know.
Did you speak to him about the mashup for the shows?
No, I forgot.
Okay.
I was talking about him going to Germany.
Oh, okay. I wasn't going to say where he was going.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, we may just want to wait till he gets back. He's only going to be gone about 3 weeks, so we can probably do that mashup when he gets back.
Okay, no worries.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Now that show we're going to agree.
Yo, I just can't wait. We still recording, right? Yeah. All right.
Yeah, we recording.
I can't wait for that. But cool. I need to wrap the night so I can get some rest. But we got to put up the quote. I don't know why I've been thinking about a variety of these kind of quotes lately. I think because profanity lately has been very piercing. All right.
You mean when you hear it or when you say it?
Yeah. When I hear it. Yeah, it's been.
And what do you mean piercing?
Like it's very sharp. The just as I, bridle my own tongue as far as cursing, it's becoming more and more harsh to hear. So I know that's not I know. I'm surprised you didn't just tell me you don't give a fornicate.
Yeah, I wanted to, but then I was like, because it was right there on the tip of my tongue, but I was like, slow hanging fruit.
You gotta be, you gotta be you. Sometimes the tip of your tongue is so far away.
It is. It is. You're right. You're right. So shit. Damn, that felt good. I had to get that out.
Oh man, it's you gotta let it rock. It's a good thing I don't have nigga triggers. Remember we talked about it? I just don't. But in reference to that, for next week, the quote, I'm assuming it is this guy Michael Hyatt, because I just found it before we got on. I had been just kind of Googling some stuff. But at any rate, the quote is, if you can't be interesting without profanity, then let's face it, you're not that interesting.
Oh yeah, he can kiss my black ass, but all right, we'll do this next week. Oh yeah, oh I'm gonna have fun with this. Okay.
So the guy's name is Michael Hyatt. So
Michael Hyatt.
Yep, Michael Hyatt.
Yeah, he sounds like somebody I want to cuss out.
So I'm gonna say it again. If you can't be interested without profanity, let's face it, you're not that interesting.
And I'm gonna say it again. He can kiss my black ass.
Well, next week we're gonna say them same two statements over and over. But yeah, I want to get into it and I think it's gonna branch off too. Because another thing that really has always been very piercing is hearing parents curse at their kids.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, now that's piercing for me too. My kids ain't never heard me curse unless they heard the music. So,
oh yeah. Speaking of which, we'll talk offline about that. But okay, yeah. So that's the quote for next week. Michael Hyatt. Shout out to you, michaelhyatt.com. Oh, I guess that was free. Yeah.
Oh no, he gonna have to pay. Matter of fact, he gonna have to pay for that shit. So
you're not being very interesting right now. Yo,
this has just become my favorite part of this episode. Yeah.
Right? Yo, all right, we gotta wrap. So, what do I say here? Oh, hey, I am Uncommonterry.
and I'm Tyrell I'm Relic. And on that note, and I quote, I hope you are not alone. Peace out.